good evening everyone. Welcome to the BISP Solutions. My name is Anjali and today we will continue with our workforce planning. We were doing that in the PBCS, that is Enterprise Planning and Budgeting Cloud Services. So let's get started. Now today we want to learn how to create the application for the workforce planning. Yesterday we have seen the basics like the definition of workforce planning, how it works, what are the benefits of workforce planning, and why it is important basically in every organization. So we were doing that for a bank. We have taken an example for a bank. So let's continue with the application today. And we have seen how workforce planning works. So basically workforce planning cycle is like this. First we need to identify the needs, like forecast needs, why we are doing the forecasting. So forecast needs we identify, then we analyze the gaps, like the gaps could be anything, like we need the number of employee, we need to hire the number of employee 10, but in our list according to the eligibility criteria or maybe a number of reasons could be there, we only have 7 or 8, so there is a gap of 2 employees. So we need to analyze the gaps and then develop strategies. How we develop strategies, we will see that. Then implement strategies, then we need to monitor and evaluate. So after all these things we can complete our workforce planning life cycle. Okay, so now let's move on to the application and let's continue what we left yesterday. So we need to create the application and then we will see how we can make the user variables, how we load the metadata in the application and all these things. So let me check for an instance. Now again today I'll show from scratch how to build application, how to configure things. First thing, after creation of application, let me open the life cycle first. So we have written the whole life cycle. In the life cycle, initially we understand the proper requirement, and whenever we start working on the workforce planning life cycle, so it will be starting with the creating of application. Application will consist of the period frequency, how much period we want to make our planning, what will be the scenarios. Scenarios could be the actual, it could be the plan, or it could be variance, anything. Fiscal month we need to decide there, maybe it could be January to December or April to March. Then we need to decide the weekly distribution of 13 period, it can be 12 period or 13 period calendar, 12 months or 13 period calendar. We have selected event distribution there. Then working version we have selected. Dimensions which are necessary in the workforce planning are account, period, scenario, version, entity, employee, union codes, component, job, or n number of some more custom dimensions could be there, right? Then the organizational structure, which includes the salary grades, different verticals, allowances, perquisites, basic salary increment, bonus. So we will see all these things when we create the application. Then the next thing is we need to enable the features. So today we are going to do that, and after that we need to configure the application. When we configure the application, so we need to load the metadata, and after that we set various assumptions and default. After that, the next step, we create the user variables and user preferences. So according to the user variables we decide the intersection, then we decide the merit rates, what could be the merit rates. Then after that we load the historical data. There are some pre-built data forms, we will be using that. Then calculations will be done accordingly how we set things. Like suppose I have selected entity, I have loaded metadata, and then according to my assumptions and defaults the calculation take place. Okay, then after all these things, after we load the historical data, then we see the data validation. So let's start creating of applications today again. Let me check in which instance I can show you how we can create that. So till then the application is getting created. We will learn some more concepts in the workforce planning, so that anytime if you want to make the custom workforce planning, so you have an idea like what kind of dimensions could be there, what should be the process, and what business rules are using there, everything. Once we accomplish this pre-built planning, workforce planning in the PBCS, then we can jump to the custom application as well, right? Okay, so from here I'll select the planning. We have so many products here in the EPM. We'll move to our planning, and from here I'll click on creating a new application, because in the previous session we have seen the requirement. Okay, now we'll start creating application. So I am giving the name EPBCS, and here I write the module. So we will work on sample workforce module. Let's only write here the workforce module, and from here there are so many options like custom, pre-form module, sales planning, strategic workforce planning, cash forecasting. So from here I am going to select modules, because we want to work on EPBCS module, so modules will be the option. Then click on next. Okay, so my start here I would like to take from 2024 itself. So my actual period cover from January to October, and from November itself I will start my planning, and till 2030 I'll be make planning. Okay, this should be January in my case. You can change it according to your requirement, and even distribution I'm going to select according to the 12 months time period frequency. And my main currency would be USD, and it is a multi-currency, and my input cube name will be plan 1, and my reporting cube name will be EPBCS. Okay, then I'll click on next. So this is a review. Then click on create. So let's wait for a few seconds till the application gets created. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Once we get the application creation status, then we move towards the features. We need to enable features, because whatever features we enable according to our requirement, we can work accordingly. So the whole pre-built scenario, like the data forms, the business rules, the whole artifacts which is included in the application, we can then use according to the features we select here, right? Basically, the features which we need to enable first, that is starting with the granularity. So we need to select the level of workforce detail, how to manage. We'll be going to manage only employee job or employee job both, and we need to enable the expense planning. What kind of expenses would be there in the workforce planning? Expenses will be related to the additional earnings, benefits, all these things which we provide to the employees. Then yeah, so we get successfully application created status. Now click on OK. We can directly jump configure from here also, but I'll show you one more option. So this is the current home page. Now the next move, I'll click on application, and from here this is the configure option. From here we will choose the module on which we are working, that is the workforce. Click on enable features. So first option is we need to select the level of workforce details to manage the granularity. So when I click on granularity, basically we need to select employee to manage workforce expenses at the employee only level, right? But if I select job, so it will be, we are selecting job to manage job workforce expenses which are totally related to the job at any job level. And if we select the employee and job both, so that will be for manage workforce expenses by both employees and jobs. So let's select employees and job both. Then the next option we have, that is the expense planning. So you can see clearly we can enable additional earnings, benefits, taxes. So if we select the expense planning, then compensation planning, which includes salary planning, is also selected by default, and for additional earnings, benefits and taxes. So select an option to enable it and then select the number of members to create. In this way we can have a maximum of 30 members across the additional earnings, benefits and taxes. And we can select merit based planning also, only if we enable granularity for either employees or employee and job, only then we can select this option. And for the merit based planning and merit assumptions, to enable options for setting merit assumptions, so that we can enable the merit rate, merit month and cutoff date for the existing employees, right? So let's select. If I click on additional earnings, I can keep increase it till 30. I can select, I guess. So let's take only 5 today, and the benefits also I would like to add till 5, and the taxes also till 5. So these things are selected here. Now I am selecting the merit based planning as well. So it will be allowing us to select the merit assumptions, whether it could be globally or as per the entity. So let's select global only. Okay, the next thing is headcount planning. So select which headcount related details to manage. So if I click here, select employee demographics to analyze such employee attributes as veteran status, gender and age band, because we can classify employees according to these things, right? So if you want to use employee demographics, you must select at the first time you enable features. So available only for employee and job granularity, because we have enabled the employee and job granularity. If you are enabling strategic workforce planning, so select strategic workforce planning to align corporate strategy with execution by planning long range demand and supply for strategic personnel, right? So and then select the additional options you want. So let's select the employee demographics. So accordingly it will provide us for headcount planning. Then the next thing is workforce management. So basically here we are plan expenses. We are doing planning for expenses by new hires, departures and transfer. Obviously if I hire the new employee in my company, definitely there could be so many expenses because I need to pay to that employee. That will include additional earnings, benefits, the basics and everything, right? And departures and transfers also, because if I eliminate, or if somebody leaves the organization, then also we need to pay so many things. So that will be covered here under the workforce management. So accordingly we are selecting here the new hires. It will be merit based planning for new hires, then terminations, then the transfers. We'll see everything: new hires, terminations and the transfers, and split funded FT as well. So if you want to learn about this, you can click here. These options enable you to plan expenses based on employee or job hiring, terminating and transferring to another department, right? Now the next thing is we need to map or rename dimensions. So there are dimensions exist, that is skill set, component, property, some custom dimensions we can add here, and already they are providing us employee, job, union code, highest education degree, gender and age band. So these things are already here. If we want to change the name, rename these things, so we can rename from here, right? So let's enable. So the features you have chosen will be enabled. Do you wish to continue? Yes, we want. Till then the features are getting enabled, I would like to show you what kind of dashboard will be appear once we create everything in the workforce planning. In this way you can see things: target new hire, plan new hire. The workforce planning will look like this, the dashboard. Okay, target headcount, plan headcount, total compensation and headcount summary, new hire trend, you can see. So this will be helpful in this way. We need to, if we are planning for new hire, so everything we can plan here according to their age band, according to their education, highest education degree, and we can see the target versus plan headcount by job also. Like here, so many jobs we can include: sales operations, sales manager, sales director, all these things. So I have previously prepared the whole workforce planning. There I find how I can create the dashboard. I can see the headcount by job, sales representative, sales director. I can see the existing employees, the new employees, then total compensation details, everything. So once we create successfully everything in the application, then we can see how the dashboard will create. So the workforce functionality that we selected was successfully enabled. Now it always asks that before you can start using these features, please sign out and sign in again. So I am doing that. If you have not created the user, then first create the user before signing out. Manage users. Click on manage users to create the user. Okay, from here I'll select my name because I've already created one user with this. Okay, there is no user. Let's create one and then we'll sign out, because unless we sign out we can't see the features which we just enabled, right? So to see that workforce icon at the home page and to start working, we need to sign out first. Okay, I'm using my own name for creating the user. And for now I'm giving whole rights, because this does not concern with any specific right. I'm giving all the application rules. Okay, now let's sign on. Right now you can see we don't have that workforce icon anywhere. Okay, now let's sign out and sign it again. I don't want to save this right now. I'm clicking on not now, but at least now the workforce icon appears. So this is the way, this is the reason why they want us to sign out first, then sign in back, so that we can see the workforce icon. Okay, so you can see here we can make compensation planning, the demographics and analysis, right? Now the next thing after this, let's refresh once. Just again click to the application, because now the next step according to our life cycle, we have created the application, we have already enabled the features. Now the next thing is configuration. So in the configuration we'll load metadata, we set various assumptions and defaults in the configuration itself. So again I'll click on configure. From here I'll choose the workforce module. Okay, so here you can see we need to load the metadata for the employee, for the entities, for the job, skill set, benefits and taxes. Then we need to set the planning and forecasting preparation. There is a maintenance word written. Union code, again we need to load metadata. Then options and tiers, again we can load metadata. Employee properties, employee demographics, age band, gender, highest education degree, salary grades, workforce assumptions, everything we need to set from here. So the first step, I'm going to load metadata for the employee. So because I'm already having the employee metadata file, before loading that I would like to show you how you can create the metadata file. So this is my metadata file. According to my requirement I created this. Under the employee, one parent was there, that is the total employees, existing employees and the unspecified employees. So these are my employees, and there in the alias section I mentioned all the names of the employees. Okay, then the new employees, the hiring requisition 1 to 5 I have taken here. John, Paul, T, Jennifer, Joseph, Mira, Sophie, these are my employees. And then okay, so these are my new hire. I have given the name for all the new hires. So in this way I can create. If you are not aware about the structure of the metadata, so what you can do, you can use the dimension editor option to create few employees and then extract the metadata file. That means you need to export it once from the application, and then you get this kind of a structure. So you can add some more employees and recreate your metadata file, then you load back from here. Because the main thing you should follow from in this EPBCS application, you can import metadata by using this configuration option only. Otherwise it can we are not using the proper way. So although Generally we are using some more options like EPM automation, data management, bulk method, classic, dimension editor, and so many methods. But here for loading metadata we can use only this option, so that the application do not tamper. Okay, now I am moving towards my folder. So here I have pre-saved every metadata file in the CSV format. You can see .csv has been written here. Okay, so this is the comma delimited file. First validate it and then import it. So import metadata job submitted successfully. There are errors. If there are errors, then we need to check it. Under the jobs we can check it. We need to resolve all those errors. So you can click on error directly. One or more child jobs have failed. Okay, let's see how many are successful. So you can clearly see the records read 22, records persist 22, only 3 records have been rejected. And what is the reason? Object name OWP total employees is invalid, existing employees is invalid. Okay, why? Because object name cannot start with any of these prefixes, because I have already worked on this module, so my file was same. We cannot use the FCCS, OCX, OEP, OFS, these objects we cannot use. So either I can go back and change these names, or I can use the same file, because only 3 records were rejected, the rest are already there. So let's not change it, because we can manage 2-3 records now. And one more way to check this, go to the dimensions, and from here you can check what kind of employees have been loaded. So what will be the queue? The queue will be OEP underscore WFP employee, no employee, total employees, in which, okay, I get the existing employees, the unspecified employee, and the hiring new employees. That will contain so many hiring requisitions. Then the mass hiring also. Okay, so it is sufficient to work with it, right, according to the requirement. Now the next thing, we would like to load the entity. Right now we don't have any member under the total entity. Now let's add entity metadata also. You can change the status from here if according to you it is completed. So you can click on configured or completed. So in this way you get the status for other users as well. Sometimes so many users working on same application. So for their knowledge also, we are changing the status from here. Okay, now let's choose a metadata for entity. If your file format is not correct, then it will never validate successfully and never import. So your file format and everything should be correct. Now you can see clearly I have not changed the status, it is completed successfully. For more details you can go to the jobs, and here the green right icon will show you that it is successfully completed. Okay, this is the job status. Now again configure. Now I need to load job metadata, and there could be errors. It's normal. We just need to change the file format or whatever the error, we just need to correct that. So it's okay. Okay, that's good. Again, we completed it successfully. Okay, if you don't have the every metadata file right now, so you can skip few things like skill set. We can use the dimension editor later on. So right now I'm only having the employee entities job and union code metadata. So I'm loading that first. Before using the user variables, we must have metadata there, right? That is the reason why we are doing that. It is also successfully completed. Okay, from here you can see right now we have no option. We can add, like if I want to add it manually, so I can add here option 1. Then in the alias, I'll write in this way. The time balance will be balance only. Data storage is stored and data type will be non-currency. Save it. So one option I have added. I can add some more options and I can import the whole file, batch import as well. But right now I just want to add only one option, and same I can add tier. So right now we have 3 tiers already added. Save it. If you want to add some more tiers, so you can add it from here. Now employee properties. So it is already available in the application, like the full-time, part-time employee, the start month, start date, comments and date, cut-off date, action, hiring status, working days per month, merit month, employee type, FTE assumption, that means full-time assumption, then headcount assumption, pay type, skill set, so many things are here. So I will just click on save and it is done. If you want to add some more employee properties, then definitely you create your metadata file. Similarly, we have loaded for other employee entities, job, etc. You can create your metadata file and load it from here. And again, I can change the status, configured, then employee demographics. So here you can see that gender, age band and highest education degree is already there. If I want to add some more demographics, I can clearly add it from here. So if you have the metadata file for age band, gender, highest education degree, you can load that. Let's load for component now. Component, I'm also having the metadata file for component, so I'm loading that. Again, validate and import. Okay, so after component there are some salary grades, defined salary basis and grade for salary grades. This we can do after completing the user variables and user preferences, because if I click here, so you can clearly see the one thing is written over here. Before you can open this form, you must select a member for each user variable, right, that the administrator has set up. So let's do that. And one more thing, if you have loaded so many metadata or anything else, then just please keep on refreshing your database. Because unless we refresh the database, sometimes we don't get all the things which we have loaded in the application. So database refresh is very much important every time we change the structure of the application. Okay, now directly I'll click on the home page, and the next thing you can clearly see here, after loading metadata, after setting various assumptions and defaults, the next thing is user variable and user preferences. So let's do that. How I can do that? From the tools, click on variables. Okay, initially three things have already selected here, that is the currency, the entity, and the this. Okay, let's select the 0 level currency, 0 level entity, and everything 0 level I want. How we can do that? Just click here in this arrow option before the use context. Application is this instance is running so slow. Okay, again click on tools, add on the variables. In this way you can click on the function, and from here you can select the level 0 descendants. Again currently it is only OEP total entity, we can remove it also, and we can select the function from the entity itself, the 0 level descendants for the whole entity I want. And you can select multiple things also at a time from here. Level 0 descendants for the scenarios, for the versions, because otherwise I cannot, if I will not select the level 0 descendants, then what will happen, I cannot take the user preferences according to my choice, because sometimes what happens, if there is only I descendants have been selected, so what happens, not every member can occur. If I want to see each member, so there is a need to select the level 0 descendants. And one more thing, let's disable the use context, otherwise we cannot see these members there. Level 0 descendants are selected for the employee and job both, and again for the parent, employee parent, and the period also. So everything if selected, then click on save. One more thing, if you want to add a new dimension, so you can click here add, so it will be added. Now if it is saved, then directly jump to the user preferences, and one member we will be selecting from every dimension. So this is possible from this option, user variables. Now USD currency we want to work with, an entity. Under total entity there are so many entities. Let's go with the marketing US. Then again USD. One for the normal input currency, and then second one is for the reporting currency. Then one scenario I'll be selecting. So we were doing the planning, so I'm going to select the OEP plan, or you can take the actual as well, anything you want. Whenever you are working with the historical data, always select that OEP actual. Okay, OEP working version we want to work with, then years. Okay, so current year will be the financial year 24 only. That's why I'm selecting that. Any random employee we can select. It's take E0001 and random job as well. So under total jobs there are so many jobs. I want to work with finance analyst. Then employee parent. Again I'm selecting the same employee. and the period. So let's choose November because we want to start planning with November month. Once it is done, click on save. Your user preferences have been saved. So after this, go back to the configuration. Now, because we have already loaded metadata, so the next thing is now I can select the salary grades, the workforce assumptions, the performance metrics, the merit rates, the global assumptions. So now let's click on salary grades. Okay, so here we need to specify the salary grades. So whatever the scenario we have selected there in the user preferences will automatically highlighted here. Okay, one more thing, the entity we have selected, that is not sales US, so I would like to change it. It will be marketing US. Currency will be USD, version working and plan scenario. Okay, now let me open the requirement sheet again. First, let's close the unnecessary files. We are doing this workforce planning for a bank, so everything will be according to a bank, which is a very huge, having so many employees, huge bank it is, and so popular bank. I'm not okay. So let's see what will be my actual figures. So many grades are here right now. You can see, you can consider that it is a real data. So we will be working on this so that it will be an idea that how we can use that module, the workforce module. So my job grade levels are from 1 to 9, and here also in the application, if you see in the application there are so many grades. So just click on grade 1, and from here we can select that the salary will be given weekly or we need to provide annually, bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annual, anything we can select from here. So suppose I would like to select annual from here. You have changed the page selection but you have not confirmed. Okay, one more thing I would like to select it before this. Planning and forecast preparation, because here we will specify the current fiscal year. Current fiscal year is already selected. Period, I would like to change from January to November, and the plan start year, I want to start the planning from this year, current year only. If I want to start it from the next fiscal year, I can select it here, but let's do it from November itself, because my actual data I will be considered from till October. So November will be the plan start month, period, and the plan start year will be current fiscal year, and everything I will make monthly. If you want, you can change it according to your requirement, monthly, quarterly and yearly. 5 years planning we are doing, and the forecasting, so forecast will be done for 2 years. for December financial year 24 to December financial year 25. Click on save. Now we can change the salary grades. Our entity is marketing, and I would like to take here annual. So financial year 24, if you see the payroll budget, basic salary is 67,51,166, but because of 2.5% raise, it changed and it becomes 69,19,945. Let's check it manually once. Or we can use a calculator as well. Sixty-seven lakh 51,166. This is my actual figure. If I multiply this with 2.5%, okay, my mistake. Okay, let's not do it in the calculator. Let's do it directly in the Excel sheet. That will be better, I guess. Yeah, here already I've done that. So let's write the number 67,51,166. 67,51,166 is the number, and 2.5 is the percentage for the increment. This will become 1,68,000 something. Now let's add this. This will give us the figure 69 lakh 19,945. Let's check it. So it is absolutely correct. Now you can see in every month it is divided the same figure, and we are taking there the annual figure. So we would like to take 83 lakh 39,000 something. So let's use this figure 83039,342. 83039,342. Similarly, we just want the same in every year, so we can drag it and click on save. So this data has been saved. Till financial year 28 it is saved. Okay. Now the next thing, grade 2. This is grade 2. There is also a 2.5% increment. How I can say this is only 2.5%? You can see from here. Here it is clearly written that the company intends to effect cost of living adjustment with 2.5% in the basic salary as well as in the allowances as well. So that is why the reason I am only making increment with 2.5%. So next value is 33,67,550. Now if I will make 2.5% increment here, so again it will be 84,000 something, and this will give us a figure of 34,51,739. Let's check. Absolutely correct. So now we will take this value. If we want to do this monthly, so we can change it from annual to month. So let's make grade 1 for annual salary basis, and here for grade 2 I'll be selecting monthly. 34,51,739. 34,51,739. Actually, I just want to show you some realistic figures. Otherwise, we can take the simple figures also, but we are doing a case study. That's why I'm taking the exact figures. We can take simple figures also, just for the sake of understanding. Okay, let's take 2 grades only till now. I think the time is already done. So tomorrow in the next session we'll see how we can set the workforce assumptions, the performance metrics, merit rates, global assumptions and all. Till now I hope it is clear to you. And if you have any doubt, so you can ask in the comment section here in the www.bispsolutions.com. So thank you so much for watching. Here I am ending this stream. Thank you.